Hello everyone, Gerone Wright here with a painting by Rembrandt, famous painting by Rembrandt should I say, and it depicts Jesus and Mary Magdalen. Okay, two famous biblical figures that mark a historical moment in biblical times. Of course, I'm here to decode this image, and I noticed I don't get too many hits when it comes to dealing with moments of biblical time, especially with Jesus. It's almost like it's taboo, like everybody's afraid to cross that threshold with me, with dealing with these images when they're talking about historical moments in biblical times. People, there's nothing to be afraid of. If I'm giving you truth on top of truth when it comes to dealing with these images, then I mean we should not have a problem. If Jesus was not who he's described as being in the Bible, then I mean I should be applauded for not just my efforts in bringing the truth to you, but identifying with you who you really are and why you exist. I mean, if you're not going to die and go to heaven, or your worship of Jesus and God is not what you think it is, then people, you can't be upset with me. Now, I do not have, I mean, there's only once in a blue moon, only one person here and there out of the many views that I have actually states the fact that that it's almost impossible of what I'm finding and what I'm disclosing. I mean, believe me when I tell you that I have more favorable views than that of negative. Okay, but my thing is that you already know who you instinctively are. I'm tapping into and touching on something that you are already feeling, but is afraid to deal with, to rationalize in your mind and sort it out because you're afraid. That fear, people, is what's, I mean, it's embedded in you. It's been implanted in you by those that don't want you to know the truth, and they did it by in your teachings. They did it by in so much as far as science, historical times. These stories, people, actually have your mind contaminated, you're brainwashed, so to speak. But anyway, this image. But there's people that know about how we were created, where these genetics would go, what Jesus really stood for, what Christianity stood for. And these people went on to become famous for their paintings and their sculptures and their architectural building designs that actually commemorate shrines to these historical times, and show the select few that actually know about who we are, to show them that, hey, look, I knew this, and this is how it was, and it's a blueprint, people. It's a blueprint, and it lets you know how these genetics evolved from the ancient world of the beginning of time to that of now. And people, these genetic manipulations are still going on, and you should be worried, because a lot of these the history that is available to us, and it all tells us, like with the Mayans, with the Egyptians, and with those in Angkor Wat over in Cambodia, all of these places where these great genetic manipulations took place, these people all disappeared. There was devastations, not just on the civilizations, but on the actual locations that they actually stood upon, or they inhabited. People, it's going on today, and this is how. It doesn't take a rocket scientist or a person with a crystal ball to figure out that if it happened before, it's happening now, and it's going to happen again. You know what I mean? So, and let me just get to this image here. I'm going to bring you to this image because this is Rembrandt. I already suggest in my factual findings that Rembrandt, just like many other Renaissance artists, whom I'm going to keep decoding until you guys get the message and get me mainstream. Here's a famous painting by Rembrandt with Jesus in it. I'm going to decode this image for you people so I can hammer away at our world's history and get me up on the threshold so we can actually talk about what's going on and where we need to evolve from here. These people need to be exposed for altering our DNA and our genetics. Okay, so I'm going to show you here, people. Here we have angels upon the founding stone. The founding stone represents the ancient genetics. Okay, represents the ancient genetics. The founding stone, ape and reptilian. Okay, I know where they go at before there too, people. So I mean, I know where the ape evolved from, where the reptilian and genetics evolved from. I know what this all means. The two angels sitting upon the ancient genetics represent that, you would not even believe it, people, but they represent the genetics of that of first man, i.e. ape to black man. These angels represent that of black genetics. Mary Magdalen, down on her knees, the cauldron-like cup. These genetics, not brewed. I use that terminology. It's not that. It's a chemistry of these genetics where they're altered in the cauldron, the witches brewing kettle, where they're changed. There's a change being made, people. Okay. Mary Magdalene took these genetics into her body. Okay. These genetics over a period of time was altered. Okay. Now Mary Magdalene has these genetics, these ancient genetics, altered in her body, right here. Okay. Now, where do Jesus come into play at? Jesus took these genetics from Mary Magdalene. Shown. It shows you how Jesus took these genetics from Mary Magdalene. I'm not going to tell you because it's going to come a time where I'm going to be called on this anyway. But I'll tell you how Jesus got these genetics from Mary Magdalene. Okay? Now, how do we know this? It's verified. Right behind Jesus, there is a witch-like woman. Right there. There's her face. There's her hair up in there. I'm gonna show you an image. I have it drawn out for you people. I'll show you in a minute. Okay, I'm just gonna give you the story right now. There's a witch-like woman standing behind Jesus. Jesus has her arm. Her arm comes around and comes into the hand of Jesus. Jesus is pulling her, showing you that he took these genetics that came from here, through here, onto Mary Magdalene and into Jesus. Now, who is Jesus? Who is Jesus? Jesus is an extension of that of the ape, black man, okay, ancient Africa, i.e. all of the above, which all man evolved from. Now, how can I say this about everybody's cherished Jesus? Right here on the side of Jesus, in the side of his face, right here, when you Google this image, you'll see it for yourself. There's an ape right there. You'll see the ape's face at the tip of, right there, letting you know that these genetics are being altered. There's an ape right there. Now you're probably saying, oh, that ape is too small for you though. You can't see that ape though, can you people? You know what I mean? When you Google this image, it's always verified. Okay? These images are always verified. There's Jesus' face. Rembrandt has an ape right next to his face. Now, let me show you people. If that ape is too small for you, let's go to the larger ape. Come up here. We're in the ape's chin. There's the ape's mouth right there. You'll see a snaky-like object like the ape's tongue coming out of his mouth right there, letting you know these are the ancient genetics. Okay, we're coming out of the ape's mouth up over top. Right here is the ape's snout, showing you how the ape's mouth. See that look? See the mouth right there, people? Okay, fine. You're with me now. There's the nose of the ape. Okay, and it shows you how the ape is right there, people. You see that? You see the ape right there, people? You see that? And right next to the ape is a witch-like woman. Her face. Who I dub as the mother of creation. There's her mouth. There's her chin. There's her nose. And there's her eye. She is dubbed as the mother of creation. It shows you how these genetics people are being bridged and altered. Look. You see the apes, you see that? You see that snake-like object coming out and going into and coming over here to the mouth of the mother of creation? People, it tells you what's happening. This is a blueprint. On this side right here, inside of here, are all images of reptilian. So, okay, people, I gave you all of this, the genetics. Alright? There's a circulation of genetics here. What's going on with the genetics? You see that these genetics are being taken out of Mary Magdalen. They're right here, taken into Jesus, the body of Jesus. A genetic bridger. That's all Jesus is a genetic a manipulator, a bridger. That's all Jesus is. So where do these genetics go? Okay, it shows you. Jesus has the shovel in his hand right there. And there's a city in the background over there. What you don't see, though, people, is that there is a body right here. That Jesus has the shovel going into the body right there. It shows you these genetics of Mary Magdalen, which came through Jesus. They're right here. And it shows you how they were genetically bridged into this city in the background. Through these two people, which is a man and a woman, heading down the hill to the city. And it shows you genetic bridging, people. Look right here, and there's a body. Now, I'm going to bring up another image to show you exactly what I'm talking about. Even here, in Mary Magdalene's clothing, it creates a face of these ancient genetics. Shows you genetic bridging right here. The double-headed, I'm going to call that double-headed penis, the double-headed snake, okay? And then it shows you, again, another face. I'm gonna bring this image up over here, people, to show you. Because you can Google this image to see for yourself. Alright, I'm going to probably have to bring this in a little closer to give you, let me see if I can bring that in. Probably too much. Let me bring it down some. Okay, I think we're there. Can you see that, people? Or do I got that too much highlighted for you? Okay, let me back off some here. Alright, here we go right here. First of all, where we're at, notice here first at the stone that Mary Magdalen is at. Creates almost like a lid right here. And out of the lid, you see cleverly a substance coming from down and into the cup of Mary Magdalen. Okay? Which means that out of the fountain stone, Mary Magdalen drank from this cup. These genetics is showing you how these genetics got to Mary Magdalen. Okay? Now, then we have Mary Magdalen kneeling. Shows you that Jesus, again, took the genetics from Mary Magdalen. Shows you which genetics were taken. Because I know what these genetics represent. This is it. This is a witch-like woman right here behind Jesus, people. When you Google the image, look, you'll separate it. And you'll see she even has her pointed like, I don't know if you want to call that like a veil. Like if her hair is pointed up and is tied around almost like a queen. Like a cone cap. That's on, and it shows you even the face right there, people. It shows you a full body, and it shows you that Jesus has this image by the hand, these genetics by the hand that he took from Mary Magdalen. Okay, and here's the ape-like image right there on the side of the face of Jesus. Okay, and then here's the ape right here that I drawed in and made it look like a reptilian. Gave it this face. I didn't put the mother of creation right next to it because that would have thrown the image off. But see that ape of the ape image, how I drawed it in? And where's the eye? I drawed the eye in right there. Can you see that, people? Alright? You see that ape-like? Now, the ape has a reptilian-like face. Now, where do we see a reptilian-like ape at? Didn't you see the reptilian-like ape in my last video, people? The same thing is said right here in the Neanderthal image. You seen that in my last video. This ape is casting a reptilian shadow, and it shows you these reptilian genetics. Look at the double-headed penis in the mouth of the triceratops slash like rhino-like creature right there. You see that? And the horse right there. Now, people, these genetics, these ancient genetics that they have learned how to master, how to bridge, and send to other locations. These genetics, these alterings, is what's being done in the Vatican. The same exact thing. What's happening, people, are these genetics are being collected on one location, such as the Vatican, being cross-referenced. Cross-referenced. Let me make a cross, people, so you can get it. Cross-referenced. There's a cross. I'm putting a cross there. That's an invisible cross. Being cross-referenced here, and then being sent out globally to alter the genetics of the masses of people on different continents. And that's what's being happened. And that's what's happening. Christopher Columbus was doing it. The conquistadors were doing it. People, the evidence is loud and clear. And these Renaissance artists, there is not one Renaissance artist that is not guilty of depicting the same exact genetic blueprint on how it's being done in their paintings. This is Rembrandt, people. This is Rembrandt's painting depicting Jesus and Mary Magdalen. Even if you didn't want to believe what I was stating then why is there a witch-like woman behind Jesus? An ape on encrypted in his hair, where his hair should be, there's an image of an ape, and then the larger ape over top of him, and then the woman, the witch-like woman again right there, beside the ape, like they appear in so many of my videos and in my discoveries and in my findings. The witch-like woman. And the ape. You know why? Because I know what they represent. That's why they appear like that. I know why they're here. I know what all of this means, people. Genetic bridging, genetic altering. People know about what's happening with our genetic lines and our bloodlines, and they're showing you right here in this. Rembrandt, Da Vinci, Bernini, just to name a few, Michelangelo, the whole Sistine Chapel, the ceiling drawings at the Sistine Chapel, the whole thing, people, is saying the same identical thing here. I can walk into the Sistine Chapel and read the whole ceiling because it's the same exact thing. It's telling us the same exact message. It is all the same thing. When you Google this image, look here. These are the identifiers. Look back here. You see the body of a witch-like woman right there. Jesus has the hand of that witch-like woman, showing you that these genetics were extracted from Mary Magdalen, taken into the body of Jesus, and transferred over to this city in the back location where they were genetically bridged. It shows you, if you look, you'll see like pillars, meaning genetically bridged, and it shows you two bodies over here, which is a monk-like individual and a woman walking down hand in hand down to that city in the background, showing you that the genetics that were taken from here, people, and genetically altered, were sent out to the city in the background to contaminate the genetics of the people that was actually in the city. People, I know it sounds hard to believe, but the story of the Bible does not make no sense. And by it not being able to make no sense to anyone, the story changes and changes and changes until it fits to the minds of those that are delivering the message, or it's shaped and fashioned for how you want to believe it. But how come I'm able to take one Renaissance artist image after the next, one after the next, people, and continuously keep showing you these apes and witches and transparent images? This image here, look at this woman in the background on her knees. Her body is identical to the position the way Mary Magdalen is. Even has her leg stretched out over the city. Right there, there's her body right there, people. When you Google the image, you wouldn't see this image unless I otherwise showed you. And Jesus has the shovel in his hand, showing you that Jesus planted Mary Magdalene's altered genetics now, which went through his body, that he planted them in the city in the background. Showing you, that's what the indication of the shovel is. Genetics went out into the background. These historical figures, biblical times, genetically bridged. Genetics from beginning of time, 8, which represents that of the black man, altered genetics. And this is what is going on today. You know, when I was a kid growing up, I heard stories about AIDS and all of that stuff there, and how there was stories about how diseases and stuff in Africa, how they believed that there was genetic experiments that caused all of these diseases and stuff, and these diseases were man-made and so forth and so with. I mean, people, the evidence is here. If those that know how to genetically alter us take one DNA from other creatures, which involve animals and reptiles and all of this, people, if they're doing this, which I'm showing you that is being done, then those that are doing this is responsible for what is in our bloodlines today. The genetic alterings that are actually occurring are these people that are actually experimenting with our genetics and altering things, sending them from one location after they're altered here, and sending them out across into the masses of the people. And that's why these continents are separated in the way that they are. And this is what's happening, people. Yep, this is what's happening. The Vatican is at the center of it, and it's cross-referencing of genetics. My name is Gerone Wright. This is my Geronification channel. And you can either Google my name, Gerone Wright, which is GeroneWright, or you can go to YouTube, my Geronification channel, which actually I have 60+ videos there. You know, Jesus is not who you think he was or is, and the only way that Jesus is coming back, in which he can, which would be genetically, people, because genetically Jesus is in all of us, to be totally honest with you. And thanks to the Vatican, who continues to alter genetics today, this is the way Jesus is coming back. We have a problem. You guys don't listen up, you're going to be blindsided for the rest of your lives. Look at these images, people. Look at what's in here. Look at these images as a whole as for what they are. And you will see faces. Look at these images for what they are. Listen to what I'm telling you. And then look at the hidden images. There's a witch-like woman right here. Jesus has her by the hand, showing you that these genetics were taken out of Mary Magdalen. Okay? Then the same exact body that Mary Magdalene has right here kneeling is the same exact body that's transparently over here. Shows you how it was pulled. Look, I'm showing you, people, genetic bridge. Look at this. Look at this, people. Mary Magdalene kneeling, taking the genetics from right here. Okay? Shows you that these genetics were taken out of Mary Magdalene. Transparent image right here. Jesus has it by the hand, in this hand, and then it shows you that they were genetically bridged in Jesus, Shows you. Look at the bridge, people, right here. And it even has images here. I'm not even going to go into detail right here what this is cloaked in Mary Magdalene's clothes, and over here on the rock. But look at Jesus. This is the bridge, genetic bridge, and look, shows you that there is the image of Mary Magdalene right here. After all these genetics pass through Jesus, and Jesus has a shovel in his hand, showing you that they're being planted in the city in the background. See that? From here, genetic bridging. From here, no, hold on. Let's go from here to here to here to there to here and into this image. Look at this. Google this image of Rembrandt, people, and there's an identical image of Mary Magdalene here. Her genetics taken from here, genetically bridged and implanted back here in the background. And for those of y'all that don't want to believe or don't want to see what it is, here's the genetics. Here's the ape-like creature here, and on the other side, no, I'm not. That there. You see that? Shows you reptilian genetics. These are ancient creatures, prehistoric creatures that was in our times. If you want to see more, see all of my videos, and they all tell you what this all represents, and it all represents the same thing. I'm going to do one image after another with that of Jesus. And I know that a lot of people probably, well, you probably ain't going to be mad at me, because if I'm doing this with Rembrandt, I mean, I'm doing it with Da Vinci. I done busted Da Vinci for doing the same exact thing. You know what I mean? With his image of Christ. Got a horn being in the side of Christ's face. I got that video here too, people. Let me see. Oh, I did it with Michelangelo's depiction of God descending on Adam, creating Adam. The same exact thing, people. That video's here. I don't know who I want to do next. I can actually pretty much do whoever I want to do, because it all has the same message. So, but anyway, people, look for me in the next video. I think I'm going to do another video showing you how Jesus used his body to genetically alter that of the original man, ape and black man, and how they contaminated genetics. These genetics are being ran back in. There's one genetic being destroyed and being killed, being sacrificed. So if there's a genetic being sacrificed, then and a new being created, that means that old genetics are being killed. Meaning that Africans, those that are not genetically involved with this image right here and the genetics of Jesus, those behind you are being walked upon and being destroyed. Take my word for it or don't. I can tell you one thing for sure and two things for certain. My story, my factual findings make a whole lot more sense than those you're hearing in the Bible, because they're dead ends. My story goes on forever. My factual findings go on forever. You know why? Because they're the truth. I wouldn't be able to give you this if it was not. See that? People, you got trouble. You got big trouble, major trouble. I'll see you on my next video. Thank you.